Go.
Hang on. You ready? Got to speak?
Yeah, speak.
Okay. First, the clarification. You actually completed the mission, the oil field mission.
Oh, yes.
Bombs away.
Bombs away. And then that was it. We
So
never.
that must make you feel pretty good that it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
just for nothing.
Yeah, we dropped the bombs, and usually as soon as your bombs are gone, you hang a left or hang a right. We just kept going straight because we were in trouble right then.
And protocol, they told you, they've already taken you through the steps of everything you have to do if captured.
Well, we knew that we were to give name, rank, and serial number, and that's all we gave. Yeah, but they knew all about us anyway. Like I said, they told me who the commanding general of the Air Force was. I didn't know that. It just so happens our CO was Frank Kurtz. He was probably the most decorated bomber pilot during World War II. His daughter, have you heard of Swoosie Kurtz?
Yeah.
This was her father.
Wow.
So, and he just died here the year before last. He was 85. He was an Olympic diver, won a medal, a bronze. He was a single-engine speed pilot, won medals, and he flew 60 missions out of Italy. He was General Brett's personal pilot down in the South Pacific at the beginning of the war until he was picked to head this 463rd Bomb Group that we were in. I can remember one day we were taxiing out on a mission and our brakes gave out and we ran into the ship ahead of
Hang on
us.
just a sec. Oh, quiet in there. We don't want to pick up the sound. Okay, keep going.
Anyway, we rammed the ship ahead of us, and we all jumped out of the ship because that was as far as we were going. And Kurtz came riding up in his Jeep, and he says, "Lieutenant, get in, back in there and turn off those lights." "Yes, sir." So I went back in and turned off the lights. And so we went to town that day. We didn't have to fly that mission. Our airplane was busted. Those things happen.
You just roll it. Okay, so tell me what you were looking at. You were laughing at something in your diary.
Oh, we had two guys in prison camp, which we suspected that they were gay. Now you got to remember that this was back when gays weren't like they are now, tolerated. And you can cut this out if you want, but somebody wrote a poem about these guys.
And they worked in the store, in the canteen?
They were Americans, American pilots and stuff like that. And they were kind of sissies. And somebody wrote this poem. And I'll read it to you, but you can cut it out when you cut the stuff, okay? We suspected that they were queer. This is the tale, not good or clean, of the reign of the PX, king and queen. They took care of the PX, the canteen. Their rise to the throne let us not condone, for the rumor was that Victor was blown. Victor was the camp commander. But nevertheless, there was the ascension, and now just a few of the highlights I'll mention. A Yank with a watch that was broken to hell thought he'd give it to good old Victor to sell. But the queen pricked her ears up, and not to be flouted, "You're screwing poor Victor," she angrily shouted. So the Yank had his watch, and the queen had her way. And poor Victor had saved some 2,000 lei. And the queen, with a toss of her golden hair, soothed her wrath with another chocolate eclair. The king missed the wrath of the high-tempered lass. 'Tis heard he was sucking a First Louis's ass. Then the queen dropped her cake with a quick little scream. "Drop the cake," she said. "Here comes Major Bean." Major Bean was the camp commander there. And he was a mean son of a gun, but he was all right. And up strode the major, crimson with rage, and for history book readers, another great page. Bullshit, he shouted. Batshit again. Some dirty shave-tail has stolen my jam. Quoth the Queen, let's get Haas. That's Major Haas. And the king, oh my ass. And so Major Haas was put on the trail as a sleuth he had never been known to fail. And then, as the culprit was not brought to bay, a reward was posted of 4 million lei. The Romanskys cried bone and joined in the fray. And Walleye yelled, I will save the day. And next day, he nailed with remarkable candor a poor cross-eyed Russian by the name Alexander. Let's see what the last page is. The colonel was proud of his new Sherlock Holmes and brought Walleye a gallon of eau de cologne. And Walleye did smirk and that right eye did twitch. And the boys muttered, God smell that son of a bitch. These are some of the things that we were doing to pass the time away. But you might be interested in what happened toward the end there when we knew that we were going to get out. I don't know what's in here, but let's see. I can't read this. It's in pencil. Let's see if I can read. August 31st. 12 B-17s and some P-51s for escort are overhead to go with the 10th. I am to go with the 10th ship. Happy days. We are in the air once more. It is a good feeling. I wrote this while I was taking off. It is a good feeling, and we are going to Bari. I am going to close this diary when I hit Italy. We landed at 2:20. It's good to be back in the U.S. territory. Let's see if I can say it. Oh, it's pretty hard for me to read this.
Well, just tell me what happened. So you heard
Well,
that.
we heard that we were going to get repatriated. So they flew this 301st Bomb Group in. And a little sidebar to that is that I'm over in Albertsons one day, and here's a guy with a 301st Bomb Group hat on, and I got chatting to him, and he was one of the pilots of the rescue ship that came in and flew us out. And I tried to get him to go with me to the annual POW breakfast, but his wife got sick. So I'll do it again this April and see, because he's got some interesting stuff and that he could tell about his end of coming in to get us out. We are now a few km southwest. I have to have better light to read this, and I can't. Allied ships overhead. Okay, but in this diary you can see that there were air raids. I mean, August 19th, and we had the Bulgarians are trying to get here and the Russians to that. Now, that's about all I can tell you, unless you want to ask me some questions, and I'll try and elaborate on them.
Okay, you talked about some close calls. What were the funnest times at camp?
The funnest times in camp? Okay. I told you that we played Battleship. We had one guy in camp who, I don't know why, but we chose to pick on him. And he'd get in a Battleship game, and he didn't last 5 minutes because we'd cheat and tell the other guy where his ships were, very surreptitiously. And so that was kind of fun. But we all got along good. Nobody ever fought or anything like that. The bedbugs and lice were mean. The showers were great. The food was lousy. One time, I went downstairs before dinner down to the basement where the mess hall was, and I looked in there, and I must have seen 25 rats running around in there. And the rats were a problem in there in two ways. they only bit the English prisoners, and we thought that was funny. And we'd be eating dinner, and somebody would holler, "Coming through!" And we'd all raise our feet up because there'd be a rat on the floor running through the mess hall. But those were fun days, you know, because we were still alive, that sort of thing. We had an incident. We had a guy in there we call Pop. I guess every prison camp has a Pop. He's the old guy. How he got in the Air Force, he was probably 35 or 40 years old. And I went up to the lavatory or the latrine one day, and he was sitting up in the window, which he wasn't supposed to do. And the guard was screaming at him down there to get out of that window, get out of that window. And he made some remark, and about that time, the guy took a shot at him. He got out of the window in a hurry and never went up in the window again.
Did you see anybody get shot?
No.
Never saw anybody get shot.
No.
That's good.
No, they never shot any of us. No.
Tell me about your birthday.
On the 27th, I don't know, what did I say? I just, not much on my birthday. Just.
And you were 22 when you entered the camp. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
And on your 23rd birthday.
Yeah, I see. I think I was 27. Here, I'll get it right here. July 27th. Today I am celebrating my 23rd birthday. I hope I never have to spend another one. We had eggs for breakfast today. They were wonderful. We have got in a lot of new boys here now. We had 347 officers in here now. Tonight at 11 o'clock we had an air raid which lasted about 30 minutes. The bombs dropped within 200 yards of our building and started huge fires all over town. No more glass in our windows. July 28th, I'm writing this during an air raid. They are hitting north of here, probably the Ploesti oil field. The raid last night was a dilly. The flares lit the town up as bright as day. July 29th, no good news. The battle for Warsaw is still raging. We have a basketball league. July 30th, no good rumors. July 31st, we had a big air raid and the marshalling yards were hit. Today I could see the groups come in and make their turn. Our group came right over the building and everyone made a dash for the Adipost. That's the air raid zone. We had eggs for breakfast. August 1st. We played another ball game today and won by a lopsided score. Bun. Bun means good. No excitement. August 2nd. The Turkish Parliament is supposed to meet today and decide whether to fight or stay neutral. Oh yeah. I think that if they enter, we will be home a bit sooner than otherwise. The battle for Warsaw is still going. August 3rd, no news official. Turkey is in the war. There are lots of good rumors concerning Bulgaria, Antonescu, and Turkey. Antonescu was the ruling political guy of Romania, and he was hand in glove with the Germans. We have a ball game today. We won by a score of 28-27. This afternoon, the Red Cross something came in, and tonight we were issued shirts, pants, underwear, toilet articles, and shoes for those who had none. August 14. Everyone is hoping The air raid siren sounded. I will finish this after the raid. The raid is over, and we didn't even hear any American planes. It might have been a fighter group.
Okay, let's pause really quickly.
I'm sorry, you guys.
Who's got a
It's
split?
gonna take a lot of noise.
We'll start up camera and I'll signal.
Okay. Tell me when.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, we're good to go.
August 5th. Today, a few boys from the other POW camp came down. They have been prisoners for a year. August 6th. We lost our basketball game today. We had an air raid, but again, we didn't see the planes. Probably another fighter sweep. I went to church and communion services. It was very good. That's when I drank the wine. August 7th. We were in the compound when the siren sounded. It's a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. I'll finish this after the raid. It was a very short alert. We saw no fighters, most likely a fighter sweep. August 7th. We had an alert again. Every time we have an alert, the sirens go off. And then and then pretty soon you hear the anti-aircraft. And they were right there. We had some 88 millimeter guns that were pretty close to our prison camp. When they went off, boy, you could sure hear it. This morning some flak was thrown up. Then it was overcast and we could hear the bombers. They probably hit Ploesti. The drive in France is coming along good, and many of us hope to be home by Christmas. No good August now, no good rumors. The Germans are getting whipped to hell in France. We had an RAF air raid starting at 11 o'clock. Only a few planes came over, and the fireworks were really there. August 10th, we had a 2.5 hour raid today, and that they went to Ploesti. One ship was seen to go down in Bucharest. Threw up a lot of flak at the fighters that passed over, but that was inaccurate. This raid is the biggest that has been pulled off in Romania. The whole 15th Air Force came over late this afternoon. We could see a huge black cloud of smoke to the north. They must have leveled Ploesti. We have some good, and I can verify this with a book here that tells each raid. It must have been leveled. We have some good rumors tonight. We have heard that Romania is trying to get out of the war. I hope so. August 11th, we have heard more good rumors to the effect that Romania government is kaput. We lost a game today, our second. August 12th, we heard that Antonescu has quit and the new government will have peace in a short time. I hope so. This is my 100th day of imprisonment. August 13th. We hear that a new government has been put up, which is very partial to the Allies. We also hear that they are suing for peace. August 14th, no good rumors. We hear that Paris is almost taken, and rumors. We had a radio, a clandestine radio in the basement, so we were getting.
That's how you got most of the community. So you weren't totally isolated.
No. And we had Romanian newspapers, and you can almost read them if you know Spanish.
Did you get to know the language of Romania?
Like I say, it was a lot like Spanish. I could translate it pretty much. The rumors of the Gook government being kaput, we call them Gooks, are not true, only part of them. August 15th, no new poop. Our team won a game today. We heard tonight that southern France is giving little opposition. Thank God, I wish this would end. No more on the new Romanian government. Peace failure. August 16th. The southern France invasion is going good. We have had no air raids in several days. The 15th is on a shuttle run to England by way of France. We won a game today, August 7th. We had eggs for breakfast today. We are having an air raid on now as I write. I can hear in the distance the drone of the bombers. We saw one group in bad formation, and a while ago. They must be hitting several different targets in Romania. Also, over 1,000 ships were there. Tonight, at 10 o'clock, the air raids alarm sounded. We could hear the flak guns in the distance, but they didn't hit Bucharest. August 18th, we had, can't read it. Right now we're having an air raid. Could see the groups at the north window. Very bad formation. August 19th, Saturday, another air raid. This morning they hit up north someplace. We heard that Bulgaria is trying to get out of the war. I hope so. So our forces are still winning in France. August 20th. No hot rumors. Bulgaria and Romania are still seeking peace. So the poop goes. Many new men have come in. Colonels, majors. Right, August 21st. We heard today that the Russians have at long last started their offensive. They are supposed to be unreadable, a day, and the Rush raided Constanza. The night before last, we might be free soon. Who knows?
So this was all, I mean, you were getting a sense that you were going to be out.
Yeah.
Was there ever a sense that, we might be stuck in here for a long time? Because there were some people who were in there for a while.
No, we knew. We could tell.
You could tell.
Yeah. Oh, here's August 20th. The princess came in and talked to us. She seemed to think that we would be home soon. I smoked my first American cigarette, Lucky Strike, tonight. It was
Tell
good.
them more about Princess Krushat.
I will.
Oh, okay.
It was a good, we lost the ball game. August 23rd. Today some Red Cross packages came. There must be some cigarettes in the, in the packages. That was when I smoked. Some of the boys got letters last night. We could get mail sometime, I hope. About 1/2 hour ago, we were called into the auditorium and the announcement was made that peace had been declared. The Russians and Romanians have signed a peace project. It is what we have prayed for.
Tell me about that moment. What was that like?
Well, that was a pretty happy moment, but we didn't know what the hell was going to happen. And what happened was the Russians were very, very mad at the Romanians. The Romanians had kicked the hell out of the Russians earlier in the war, and the Russians wanted to get back at them. And they weren't very nice when they were coming into Bucharest until they signed that peace treaty. But the Russians came in there with their squirt guns, boom, boom, and they killed a lot of Romanians. But that's war. Now I go to pencil and I see here, we didn't get much sleep last night. It was about 9 o'clock now, and we can hear the rattle of guns in street fighting. It is rumored that the Germans hold 1/2 of the city. I feel it's pretty, well, I can't see in this light.
Oh, you can't?
No.
Do you want to get a little bit more, or do we need to?
Let's see if I can get it. This ought to be pretty interesting. I saw Focke-Wulf 190s dive low. I can't read this anymore, Stan.
That's fine. Let's talk a little bit more of just general,
Okay.
and then we'll.
What happened after we got back, say?
So you were, yeah. So explain from liberation, from when you knew that you guys were going to be out of camp to the point where you got rescued. What happened? Tell me that story.
Well, we heard that we were going to be rescued. We heard that we had flown Colonel
Take
Gunn
your glasses off.
to Italy. And then they brought these trucks in and they took us out to this airfield. And then this group of B-17s, the war was still going on over Bulgaria. But we had fighter cover now for going that far inland. And the group of B-17s come in, but they had the fighters with them. And they landed those airplanes and didn't even shut off the engines. Just taxied around to get, and 20 of us jumped in each airplane. And as soon as we got in the airplane, they hit the throttle and took off.
What was that like?
Oh, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. They couldn't fly high. They couldn't go up to altitude because we had no oxygen. They had taken the bomb bays and put in boards in the bottom there. And we hadn't slept much that night before. The place where we slept was just a kind of a barracks on just plain wooden slats. So we were pretty sleepy. I got on board. As soon as we got in there, I fell asleep. And when I woke up, we were on the final approach coming into Bari, Italy, and I hadn't popped my ears or anything. So we've been flying at about 11,000 feet. So I had, boy, when I popped my ears, it felt like somebody ran an arrow through my head. And then we all landed. And the commanding general was there, Nathan Twining. And he happened to be at the airplane where we were unloading. And as he walked up, I could see those stars shining on his shoulders. He says, "Are you glad to be home?" I said, "We sure are." And then I realized he was a general, and I never saluted him. But nothing ever happened. Then they took us to a place and stripped us down naked and threw all our clothes in a big pile and set them on fire. Then they squirted us with a flit gun like to kill the bugs on us, the lice and the bed bugs. And then they gave us clothes, and those are the clothes you saw in those pictures. We had no uniforms, just pants, shoes, and shirt, and that sort of thing. And we spent the night there, and they made a reel called Reunion in Italy, and it's narrated by Walter Cronkite. And I would like to someday do a little digging and try and get a copy of that, which I'm sure they must be somewhere. And it shows the pictures, the newsmen there, of our return into Bari. And the next day they flew us up to our original group headquarters in Foggia. And they had a big reunion there, and we all got blasted. We had quite a few from the 463rd. Well, you can see there was 30 or 40, and we all got blasted. And the next day, the group had to take off and go bombing, and we didn't have to go. The funny thing about this group, this 463rd Bomb Group, I was with it from its inception. But let's see, March, April, May, I was only flew for about 3 months. So from May till the next May, about a year, that bomb group was bombing all the time. The war was still going on. So a lot happened after we were shot down. They built a bar, and they had a room here and a good mess hall and all that sort of thing. I think I stayed about several days, and then they flew us in airplanes up to Naples. And we spent 2 nights in Naples, and I got to move around the town. I wanted to go over to where Vesuvius was, the big earthquake, or volcano, but couldn't. But we boogied around Naples. We stayed in a racetrack, Mussolini's racetrack. And the first morning, we were just camped in tents out there. they woke you up with a cannon blast. My God, it just seemed to shake you right to death. So anyway, they told us that we were all ready to go home. We're going to load on a ship, and the ship is the Queen Mary, and it's sitting right outside the Isle of Capri there. Well, it wasn't the Queen Mary, it was called the Athos II. It was a French ship taken by the Germans and manned by I don't know who the hell. Anyway, we all got aboard this ship, and we spent 8 days getting across the Atlantic. We were with a convoy. We had a little carrier, aircraft carrier with us, because the submarines were still out. We had one scare one night when we had about 8 ships in our convoy. Going home, and we were carrying just POWs, a whole bunch of POWs. We had once, and all of a sudden, we knew what was going on because when the whole darn thing took a big 360, we had destroyers with us, and the weather was such that we couldn't fly the airplanes off of there. So we didn't, but nothing happened. Nobody got torpedoed. Then we landed in New York. Big celebration. In fact, everybody had a loudspeaker. Please move to the other side of the ship. You're putting a list on us and we can't dock it. So, and we all threw our mess kits into the bay. We bought cigarettes for 50 cents a carton, which was wonderful, because if you smoked. And we went, and then we took a train up to northern New York and spent about a week there. I went to football game, Myers and I, and then I got on a train, and it took us about 6 days to get to California. And from there, I went on leave. And then I checked in at the Huntington Beach, is it, Peg? Huntington Park? On the coast. Anyway.
Where, the hotel you're talking about? Or?
Yeah.
Oh,
First, I was in the bachelor officers' quarters, and I got to go to special things like we were invited to the Maskers Club. The people at the Maskers Club were Yasha Heifetz, Gene Crane, Lawrence Tibbett, a lot of big names, Jack Benny. All big. It was a big bunch of people, and that was fun. And then I wanted to go on leave, so that I went to the flight surgeon and says, "Everybody's going on leave. I want to get a leave too. I want to go up and get married. Where'd you go? Up to Salt Lake City. Why don't you go call your girlfriend up and have her come down here and we'll marry you?" So I called Peggy up. She came down. We got married, and then we moved into the fancy hotel, didn't we, Peg?
yeah. You came to San Francisco.
Yeah, I came up to San Francisco and went back.
That's where I was living.
Yeah, that's right, because I had to go back to there. That's right. I came up to see you, and we plotted and planned, hadn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So then when I called Peggy up, she came down, and we got married.
Wow.
And then, what a honeymoon. This fancy hotel, and everything was done for. I think the room cost us $1 a night. The paper was delivered. We went to the horse races. We went there. Everything was free, And then I had to go to the next station, so we came up here for Christmas, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And I met her parents. I'd met them before, but I never remembered them. And then I had to get on a train and go to Midland, Texas, instructor school. I was going to be a bombardier instructor. So I got down there and spent, I don't know how long I was there. And you were here in Salt Lake. And I went to the flight surgeon and said, I want to get transferred to the West Coast.
You were in Big Spring.
I was in Midland. And I says, I want to get transferred because I don't want to fly anymore. Okay, we'll take you off flight status. Well, that was $85 a month. So I got off flight status, and he gave me a ticket to go up to Big Springs, 35 miles up the street. So I was up at Big Springs. I was on the line engineering officer for, this was a bombardier school too. And I walked in there and got back on flight status right now. And I don't know how long we spent there, and then all of a sudden a directive came through. It says, all these POWs can take any further training they want to or be stationed anywhere they want to. I could have gone to Command and General Staff School. I could have gone back into pilot training, anything. I don't want that. Send me to Marshfield, California. The next night we were on a choo-choo train going to Marshfield, California.
And you and Peg met when you were first stationed in Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Right before you went over to Africa.
Yes. Yes. And so we went to Marshfield, and I was the assistant public relations officer there. We were working on the newspaper. That was good duty. I'd go down to the flight line, get my flight time in, and I was right next to the colonel, and I'd find out where the colonel was going to play golf, and I'd go to the other golf course. And I flew down to El Paso one time and out here. That public relations was good stuff. We'd go into town once a week where the Riverside newspaper was printed and print our camp newspaper. And I'd write heads and stuff like that. And then I decided, well, they'll let us out if you have enough points. You had to have so many points. Well, I had points coming out my yang, so I went and said I want to get out. And that was in the morning. That afternoon I was out. And I went into Riverside and I bought a car, didn't I? A 1942 Ford. They hadn't built any cars since 1942. So we bought a car, we got in the car, and we came up to Salt Lake City.
No longer in the military.
No longer in the military. And I got a job here. You don't want to hear all about that. I worked for Crane Company, then I worked for Hogle Investment Company, then I worked for Pacific National Life, then I went with Tab Products.
Tab Products.
Now I'm retired.
I'm retired. So when you got back from Italy, what was the biggest change that you noticed, having gone from camp to just regular life?
Well, the biggest change was that you weren't in combat duty. I mean, Marshfield was just wonderful duty. I mean, we'd go to the officers' club. Remember, I'd have you and Lorna and what's her name would come and go to the dance at the officers' club. I had a good buddy, ex-POW like me, downstairs in the, we'd go to Long Beach, visit his parents, play golf.
We played golf, and we had a bicycle.
Yeah, we had a bicycle, and the only way we didn't have a car, so I'd get on the bicycle, and Peg would get on the back, we'd pedal down to the golf course. Huh? That was fun, two on the bicycle.
And two sets of golf.
Yeah. And so then, when I got out, of course, Marshfield, I came to Utah. But the biggest change was that it was peacetime. It was different than wartime. I have never experienced much peacetime until I got back. It was nice. It was living it up. I was making good money. Boy, you want to know how much I was making? I'll tell you how much I was making. If you don't think this isn't big bucks. I was saving money because they didn't pay me, while I was in prison camp. But I wrote it down in here. My base pay was $150 a month. My overseas pay was $15. I had flight pay of $82, which came to $247. I had to pay insurance. So I was making $240.90 a month.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Now, a first lieutenant on flight pay would probably make about $1,500 a month. So things have changed.
Now, what rank were you when you finished the military?
I was a first lieutenant.
You were a
I got promoted to first lieutenant. If I'd have stayed, I'd have probably, who knows, I'd have probably been a lieutenant colonel. These are the names of some of the people that I was in camp with.
So you were in the military a total of how many years?
I'll be about 3 years, 8 months.
3 years, 8 months.
You know, you got to put in for the claims. These are all the claims. I had a total claims of $361. Look at one Swiss watch, $45. I traded my watch, or traded my ring and watch to a Gooks over there. Oh, I had a 25 caliber pistol. Once pair of GI shoes, all these things I got reimbursed. Total $361, and they paid me that. I had to go buy uniforms again.
And you said that they did not pay you
They did.
in the camp.
Oh yes,
They did pay.
I was making my regular salary,
Mhm.
and also the Romanians gave us so much money each month.
And that's just part of wartime
That's
treatment,
Geneva Convention
Geneva
rules.
Convention.
Yeah. The names of these people in here: Lindis, McIntosh, Tony Fogel, spoke perfect German, Bill Tootin. I guess a lot of them are still. Paul Kelly, he's dead. Roy Meyer, he's dead. Oh, most of them are dead. Well, they're all 80 years old, just like me. But that's pretty much about it. If you ever want to, you could probably go through and read my writing. Can you read anything there? I can't see too well anymore, even with these glasses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, small writing, but yeah, I can read that. And you purchased that at the canteen.
That's a
Is that-
canteen. Yeah, we call it a canteen. Yeah,
Why did that? How did that name come about? I mean, why?
the canteen.
Yeah.
Well, canteen was always a Navy. We called it a PX in the Air Force Army. I was in the Army. It's PX. Now it's called a BX. But the Navy called theirs PXs canteens. So they called this a canteen. I don't know why. The Gooks thought it up. Yeah. POW Memoirs.
Wow,
That's an old book.
that is.
It's 60 years old.
Well, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. It's a lot of.
So here I am
So
to
here
this
you are.
day.
Do you think you changed as a person having gone through what you did?
Well, I don't know that I've changed. I don't know. I'd say I didn't change. Have I changed in 50 years,
I
Peg?
hope we've changed.
Huh?
I hope we've changed.
Yeah, we've changed.
You've changed.
I'm older.
You're out there.
But that's about all in my lifetime. I hope that someday you kids will look at all this crap. It's really not much. I got a suitcase full of it over there.
This is good
All
stuff.
the order. I've got a letter in there I couldn't find, written to me by Nathan Twining, the commanding general. I couldn't find it, but it's in there somewhere. And letters that I sent to Peggy,
So you were able to communicate back
Yeah.
home in the camp.
but I never got any mail from her.
Way
But
to
you
go,
got-
Grandma.
Yeah, way to
We
go.
had special papers we had to use to write.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But I don't think you ever got them in prison.
No, I never got any from you.
When Stan came home, he weighed about 130 pounds.
130 pounds. How much did you weigh over in Italy when you first got there?
Oh, about 145, something like
So
that.
you lost about 15 pounds.
Yeah.
But they fed you every day.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The food wasn't great in prison camp. In fact, it was lousy, but, what do you expect?
What kind of tea did you drink?
It was called ersatz tea. It was colored water. It looked like horse piss is what it looked like.
Tasted good?
Well, it tasted different. We ate a lot of cheese. They brought the cheese out in a box, and they'd put that box on every table, and we'd dish it up into our plates.
And that was good?
Oh, that was good cheese. And bread, cheese and bread. The bread wasn't always too clean. There were bugs in it and stuff, but you picked those out. But it was good bread.
Now, did you ever get? Did you ever have any problems with bed bugs? I know you
Me?
said with lice, but yeah.
Oh boy, you couldn't go to sleep. I'd sit in the hall out there and kill those little buggers. And they bite in train. They go boop, 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 like that. The bed bugs drove the guys nuts. We'd all be sitting in can't go to bed. And they swore we brought them with us. But anyway.
Well, good. I think we want to get some shots of. Is there anything else you can add? Or
Only thing I can do is answer questions for you now.
Okay. I think I covered pretty much anything. You have any questions? No. Oh, I think that's.
I don't know if it was any good or not.
Oh,
Junk
I think
it.
it was, you were very thorough. I think there's some good
So
stuff.
when I'm long gone, you can go through all this stuff and see if there's a whole suitcase full. All my orders, different bases, and all that sort of thing. My records. I want you to know I was an expert with the pistol.
Were you?
Yes.
Did you ever fire it?
Oh, certainly. I went through gunnery school.
Okay, but you never had to use it against
No,
enemies,
I never killed anybody. I went through gunnery school. I forgot to tell you about that. When I washed out, when I went to Santa Ana, back to Santa Ana for further training, bombardier school, they sent us to gunnery school in Kingman, Arizona. And that was fun duty, because I like to shoot guns. And we'd air-to-air shooting and ground shooting, and they'd put us we had a track that went about 2 miles around, and they'd have high houses, sheds, and low houses. And we'd get a case of shotgun shells, and 2 cadets, we were cadets then, and we'd get in the back of this pickup truck. And as we came up to that house, this guy would send out a clay pigeon. Boom, like that. Oh, we were just purplish black or blue from here like that. And we used to when you'd have to do house duty, we'd take the bird and just take the center out of the bird so it went up just like that. And as soon as you did laughing and scratching, then the next time that truck came around, get ready. We had a lead plate on these houses. Whammo, they'd let you have a full blast of shotguns. And that's where I lost my hearing, why I'm so deaf. We'd be shooting, we never wore earplugs or anything like that, and we'd be shooting 50 calibers next to one another. When you turn this way and shoot at a track going around, you're getting the full blast of a 50 caliber machine gun all the time. No wonder I can't hear.
Were there any other long-term medical effects you think that?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
That's amazing.
My back is not so good, but then that's because.
And you said you still feel the pain from where they butted you.
Oh yeah. That's right up between and the X-rays are nasty looking.
So what did you take for pain? I mean.
Oh, it doesn't hurt me that, but it doesn't bother my golf swing.
There you go.
That's all that matters.
Let's see those medals again. We want to get some close-ups of them again. We just, we give a little talk. Or, no, you can, we'll just get some.
Let's see. Got it. Oh, here's something you can wear this in your lapel.
Now hold that up to the light so that we can kind of.
I had a Purple Heart one just like this, but Billy Barnett took it, I think.
Pretty dark.
Is that pretty dark?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to crank? Do we want to do? We could do the close-ups with the lamp. Shade adjusted. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Everybody got air medals. Everybody got.
And if you can just kind of hold it over kind of towards the light, what we can do is get some close-ups of, a couple of your medals. Those are the dog tags.
Yeah. Krushat wore an S. I'm a P. Protestant. Blood type A. Tetanus 42. 07569. I stopped that from falling. Did we get a? Oh, that leg collapsed again?
Yeah, it's a.
Oh, well, those things happen. Don't worry, I can pick all this crap up in it.
I was so involved, and all of a sudden, the world comes tumbling down.
This Princess Krushat he talked about, wouldn't she come into camp and drop cigarettes for you?
Yeah, she brought wine one time. She was a real princess, a Romanian princess. Yeah, my bars.
And she rescued one of the guys who parachuted into her yard.
Yes,
He lived in Salt Lake.
he did. I think he's still alive. He lives in St. George now.
Yeah.
And she stayed with us one
Yeah, she
time.
came through and stayed with us, spent a couple of days with us. And
Yeah.
when I served her a glass of wine before dinner, she says, "This is cooking wine."
She snuck out of Romania in a railroad refrigeration car because the Russians didn't want her out of there.
Wow. Wow.
And she came. And then here a few years ago, the Association of POWs paid her way back to Romania. And she was 96 when she died. Yeah, and
Wow.
I looked her up. She was legitimate royalty, I guess.
She was a good friend, the POWs, though.
Yes, she ran an orphanage up there, and these guys ditched their airplane in her backyard.
She told us a story of taking those children down the Danube in a boat to escape.
Did she? Yeah. The Blue Danube. It ain't blue.
Blue Danube.
It was muddy. It always looked that way to me, anyway. And it had flak barges out there.
What are those?
That's a barge with anti-aircraft, so that they could move them up and down the river.
Oh.
They could move them in a hurry. Yeah.
You want to get any other shots of some of the medals?
Yeah, we don't really.
Okay. Start holding up some. Let's just get some shots of the medals, just really quickly for cutaways.
Okay.
Then just kind of.
There.
You'll inherit those someday.
Yeah, I don't know what you could do with them. Make
You hold them up some more. Oh, that's the Purple Heart.
yeah. Then I got this POW medal too somewhere.
Yeah, hold that up for a second. And then you said that was the oldest.
This is the oldest war decoration. General Washington.
Wow. And then that one is. That's the Prisoner of War medal.
No, the POW medal. I have to find it. I don't know. Oh, here it is down here. Yeah, here it is. Here. Yeah, this is a medal for being a POW.
And when did you receive that? When you got home?
Yeah, I received this only back in 1992, I think. It doesn't say the date. It has my name spelled correctly. Honorable service while a POW. And all that.
Okay. And then what's that other thing?
This is the Air Medal.
That is the Air medal.
With Oak Leaf Cluster.
And that's for.
The Oak Leaf Cluster? Forgetting it again. I never wore these.
Okay. Let's see the caterpillar one more time.
Oh, that caterpillar
That was
one?
Great.
That's a cute little thing. I carry that card in my wallet, and it's 60 years old. There's the Caterpillar Club. It says on that thing, his life having been saved. Got a couple little red things in it.
It's a little caterpillar.
You see it?
Yeah. Very nice.
Got it? Oh, there's some old buttons in here. Ah. All kinds of crap and corruption.
Is anybody hungry? I could go over to Arby's and get us some sandwiches.
I'm okay.
Are you? Okay.
This is a European middle ribbon for where you had. Then I've got a presidential unit citation blue ribbon that you're supposed to wear, which I don't.
Well, that's great. Well, let's see that card with you on it. Let's see some of these. Yeah.
A card.
Or you had that card?
Oh, my AGO card?
Yeah.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah. Let's see. Hold that up. Let's see.
Oh, it said I weighed 155 there. Fingerprints?
That's you.
That's me. Yeah.
Handsome devil.
Oh, yes. If you want to see.
Now what's, yeah, what are those?
Yeah, you probably. What does that say?
We give up Tokyo radios. Wow. Look at that. These are California publications? Yeah, looks like it. Riverside.
Yeah, that's where we're
Oh,
marched
like
to,
this.
yeah. Here's the Los Angeles.
Wars ended.
Boy, the stuff for sale. The ads or something. I've got them from World War I, too. Peggy's dad's.
Really?
Yeah. Her old newspaper.
It's incredible. Well, I think that's good. I'm more than pleased.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm glad I could help you.
This is great.
It's been so long, I've almost forgotten it all, Stan.
Yeah. You remember quite a bit, though.
But you know, like going through that stuff this morning helped a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, you don't think of it, you lose track of it.
Sure. Yeah, that's why we wanted to
Yeah.
record it, so that, you know.
They're coming out with a book, this 463rd Bomb Group book. They're coming out with a 774 Squadron book, if it ever gets here, I suppose sometime this year, which will be a lot nicer, I think.
Mhm. Excellent. All right.
3 minutes.
Okay, good enough. I think we're done.
Okay.
Thank you, Grandpa.
You're muchly welcome.
Fire's almost dead, too.
That
There
must
we are.
mean something. You know, he didn't used to want to talk about